pain, love, hope.
Most of the times, the clients that we receive in office are parents. They speak about the children, but we never get to understand the issues from the children's point of view.
A refugee child is a person under the age of 18 that flee with their parents or unaccompanied. During the process of flight, they go through all sorts of ordeals. Some of them are sexually abused, while others are taken advantage of in terms of labor. As policymakers and people that work with children, do we feel that we are doing enough to help these children and to make sure that these children live a meaningful life as refugee children in this country, especially for us Ugandans? Two refugee children interacted with fellow refugee children and other service providers to establish the conditions under which these refugee children live in this country of Uganda. Due to well-founded fear of persecution, some people are unable to live in their countries and hence seek refuge in other countries. Among these groups of forced migrants are refugees that include children. Some of these children are accompanied, while others are unaccompanied. But after fleeing to the countries of refuge, what happens to these vulnerable children?
Unatokea wapi?
Mimi natoka kwa nchi ya Kongo.
Wazazi wako wiko wapi?
Wazazi wangu walipotea hapa Uganda tangu mwaka wa 2009 tarehe 16 mwezi wa 5.
Ulikuja hapa siku gani?
Nilikuja hapa tarehe 5 za mwezi wa 6 mwaka wa 2007.
Why do you come here?
For schools and peace. For peace. There is no peace because they are fighting every time. Day and night they fight.
I come from Somalia. And why do you come here? I come from Somalia because there was for war. Then here there was a lot of peace. That is why we came in Uganda.
Mariam and Deborah, two refugee children from the Democratic Republic of Congo, visited other refugee children in Kampala and some of the service providers to find out what they go through and how the law can help them.
I wanted to ask you that, did you reduce some of refugee children come here?
Yes, we do receive them.
What kind of problem did they have?
As children, yes, first of all, they don't have parents. They come here alone. Some of them separated with their parents right away from the country of origin. So they don't have shelter, they don't have food, they don't have accommodation, among them other problems.
In most cases, they have no access to service providers because they are kept at home. For example, children don't make decisions on where to stay, what to eat, where to go for assistance. You find the children are subjected to a life of hunger, a life without basic needs such as education, health care, and other psychosocial support.
We want a very good school. We want a very good house. We want each and everything to be better. But here we are living bad. We don't have enough money. We don't have what?
All the children of here, we want to get good schools, when we finish primary and good secondaries, and after finishing, good university like that.
What help do you want from the government?
Good education.
Many of these children have gone through wars, abuse, and a lot of other experiences that have denied them their normal childhood. Some of these children are forced to carry out adult roles, others sleep, but they can't dream. They see no sign of hope. Some still believe that someday life will be better, though childhood never waits.
Napenda maisha yangu ikuwa mzuri, niishi maisha mzuri, nisome, vitu tu sawa ya mbele.
Ningetaka tu maisha yangu ikuwe mzuri, nisome, nimalize kusoma, nikuwe munganga. Kama iko munganga journalist.
Doctor, bank counter. Tunapenda tu kuishi vizuri, nyumba mzuri, kusome. Kwa na vala kwa mzuri na shie tufanane yako sawa tu. Sonona kusema
They still grow in the same harsh condition where their future is unpredictable. As the people working with these refugees, are we doing enough for these vulnerable human beings?
When we receive them here as OPM, we make sure they are registered first. They pass through this, the system of registration.
Okay.
After registration, depending on the vulnerability, we are able to refer them to the settlement.
Where did they live?
When they are in Kampala or in the settlements?
When they are in Kampala.
We take majority to inter-8.
As Refugee Law Project, how do you help refugee children?
Refugee Law Project, under the Legal and Psychosocial Department, we have the Child Rights and Protection Program, and this program particularly deals with refugee children and asylum seekers. So any child with legal issues, that is issues regarding the law, comes to us and we attend to them.
What kind of place do you want?
Medical care. Yeah, there is a very bad hospitals. If you go there, you don't get enough a very good medicine which can easily treat you. They give you fake ones, and if you go there, you spend a lot of time there. And without interpreter, they just tell you go inside. When even they don't ask for the interpreter, they just exactly tell you go to that house that there is a doctor, then you want to talk to them. If you don't know English, that is your problem.
And did they give you the medicine?
They can give you the medicine, but the problem, you have to go there for several times, then you get.
No.
The house needs money, if water, money, electricity, money, but for us, we are refugee, we don't get a lot of money. We don't have.
Helps all the children want to study a good school, like not like that one of old Kampala, because every time they chase people. What about you?
Someone I want like that, because our school they can chase me as a Congolese, they can see that this one is refugee, you can't play with her.
Yeah, I know, because they choose tribes.
How do refugee children benefit from the law of Uganda?
Yes, refugee children are like any other children. They are like nationals. The laws that govern the children of Uganda are the same laws that govern refugee children. For example, we have children entitled to education, health, families, and we don't discriminate children, refugee children. So they are like nationals. The benefits are the same.
Just like any other child, refugee children have a right to education, family, and good laws. They, however, have an obligation to respect the laws of the host country.
Tulikuwa watatu na walikuwangu wawili.
Nilikuwa watatu na mnyinyi wote mungali pamoja?
Hapana, umoja alipoteaka.
Siku ile umoja alipoteaka, mlienda ripoti kwa polisi?
Tuliendaka ku polisi na tukaenda kwa chairman, tukaenda ku Lock Tower, tukaenda na Chibuye, tukaenda na ile polisi old Kampala kote, tukiripoti kisi mlokwetu alipotea. Hakuna kenyewe tulisaidiwaka, hakuna, walituambiaka tu batatusaidia vile tu walisemaka, lakini mpaka leo hakuna kiwatusaidiaka na kitu.
Refugees disappear like Ugandans disappear, like other people are disappearing. But when a person disappears, the relatives report to police, and when they report to police, they have to give lead information how this person was dressed like when he disappeared the last time they saw him, what concerns this person who has disappeared, maybe bring photos of the person who has disappeared, explain how this person talks, if he has a scar or no, some lead information to assist the police to search for this person. Now, these children have a handicap, you know. With search, I don't think they can produce it thoroughly for the police to assist them in investigating. So I think that is the only way, the only reason why police is slow at assisting them.
Do you face challenges in your work?
Yes, of course. We do get children of different ages. For example, we get children who are between like 2 to 10, then 10 to 13, like 13 now to 17. Those have different problems. For example, 2 to 10, they can't express themselves. Then 12 to 14, they are coached. They are told what they want us to hear, for example, so that maybe they can benefit, the caretakers can benefit out of that. Then we have the most challenging age, that is between 14, 15, 16 up to 17. Conflicts from their homes tend to follow them. And then lastly, there is a challenge of accommodation.
But as other children attend school, some are busy being their own parents. And a few who attend school as refugees, they stay on the other side of the page.
The teacher came inside and told the boy that you are Al-Shabaab. Why don't you go back to Somalia if you want to fight like that, like that? Now are we the one who were fighting at that Somalia? If we want to fight, we could stay there, but we came here for peace. But those people, they don't know. In school, to treat a person who is a student like that is not good. The teacher told the boy that you are old enough. Why don't you marry a woman? That why are you sitting in this P6? Why don't you go and marry a what? A wife? Even that is not good, because they are teachers. Now, for us, we feel bad because all of us we are Somalis. He said all the Somalis go to Somalia, then you fight. For us, we came here for peace. We did not come here to fight.
Many teachers do not understand what these refugee children have gone through, and so they treat them like any other child within the class. And sometimes, because many of them are older than their colleagues in a similar class, you know, sometimes teachers make insensitive remarks about them, and that really is very, very discouraging, especially to the girl child.
But the teachers from that school, they have bad behavior, because they can say even these Somalis and Congos, especially Congos, they can say that they are Malaya, let them go and marry, you have to now marry, you are old enough.
Yeah, even they say like that. Do you know why they act like that? If we have enough money in this Uganda, we can easily go to a very expensive school and we stay there and we study there. Those teachers will not act like that because we paid a lot of money. They make us like that because we are poor.
Yeah.
Chenye tulikuwa tunaomba kama vinawezekana kusaidia watoto kuwatayarishia future, cha kwanza kuwasomesha ili watoke ndani ya mawazo ya kuharibika, na kusoma vinaweza kuwasababisha hali mahistori mabaya yenye walikuta ndani ya nchi wenye walikimbia. Cha pili, government ingesaidia juu ifanye vitu vya kufurahisha watoto juu wasahabu mambo yenye walitoka emo. Cha tatu, kama vinawezekana, watafutie fasi wanaweza kuikara, kwa sababu kuikara kuchache na nyumba zao wenye walitoka walikuwa wanaishi vizuri, hakuna mabadiliko, hakuna kuchange mind yao. Lakini kama wanapatia fasi wenye wanaweza kuikara na wanawasaidia juu ya kuwatayarisha ili kesho waweze kutoka imo kitu kipya, vinaweza kusaidia hiyo sana watoto juu kesho na yao watayarishe future nzuri.
Now, what the government tell teachers to do? The government must help us, because those people, those teachers, they have what knowledge. They came from, they studied a lot, but why do they misbehave like a child who's like 2 years? Me, I don't know.
Nasema tusaidie tuko na maisha mazuri. Tutaka kuishi hapa, kuishi kanisa. Nasema tuko na maisha mazuri sawa, wengine kisi wanaishi manyumba za mzuri. Nasema tuko tunaishi mwingine manyumba mzuri. Na wale wengine watoto wawasaidie hivyo kama si. Wawasaidie sababu watu kama mtu watusaidie na wamwe. Pate kuna ndio tupate kwenda mbele, tupate kwenda. Tukienda bula maisha yetu haiwezi kuwa sagisi kwa hapa kisi tunalala kanisa. Naweza kuwa mzuri.
Want the government to help us schools and education and good houses. Yeah, but it is not good, don't you see?
The system leaves them no room for quality and comprehensive education. There are laws and policies in place in Uganda that protect children, but with low implementation.
The law on paper is very, very perfect because it has provisions on the children's rights and how they should be protected. But when it comes to the implementation bit of it, in terms of time, in terms of resources, it becomes very, very expensive. For example, when a child is defiled, in most cases, once the case is reported to police, then the investigations take place and all that kind of thing. The period within which the investigations take place, the child would have suffered a lot emotionally. So there is need to improve on the implementation of the law with regard to child rights protection.
Just like any other human being, refugee children also come into conflict with the law, while others fall victims of circumstances.
Muyombangu akatutumana busiku, ilikuwa masaa 2 ya usiku, akatutuma bakuli tutende mletea chaja ya simu yake. Wakati tuko tunaenda bakuli, bakatukamata. Siku ilikuwa busiku masaa 2, mimi na rafiki yangu mwa wanamuita Mashauri. Bakatukamata. Wakati walitukamata, ule bwana mwali tukamata hakutulizaka hata kitu yoyote, hakutulizaka tuko na makaratasi wala akatuambia tu, akatuzingishia tu kama tuko tunakata maposters. Bakatufunga karibu in semene, tuko mu prison, habatusambishi.
How do the children break the law?
Most of the cases the children are arrested for are really petty cases. You find instances of theft, and then recently many of them were wrongly arrested because they were found idle, and somehow you're found on the streets, and especially during the election period, many of them were arrested because the security of the country was said to be compromised.
How do you help them?
These children who are arrested, we usually go to police, and one of the first things we do is to ascertain the conditions under which they're being detained. Are they being held in detention centers separate from adults? If that is not the case, that's one of the things we advocate for, because children are not supposed to be put together with older suspects. And then the other thing is to ask for bond from police, the children to be released on bond.
I came here to ask you about the refugee child.
Yes, we receive refugee children in conflict with the law. they are dead like any other Ugandan, because any other child, Ugandan child, because all refugees are supposed to respect the law of Uganda, so they are handled like other Ugandans, others who are taken to remand homes, depending on the gravity of the case. Theft, snatching of people's property is the most common offense.
Do they get the protection they need?
Organizations that help refugees should come up with programs aimed at accommodating, feeding, and keeping these people comfortable, the younger refugees, so that they don't get involved in these crimes.
If I was a policy maker, I think one, I would ensure that the implementation of the law is as smooth as possible in terms of human resource. And this human resource should not only handle the children's issues from a legal perspective, because these issues are multidimensional. It's psychological, it is social, and it is legal. Now, any intervention that is going to help children must be multifaceted, covering all these aspects of the issue. Then in that way, the healing for the child, we look at it in a very comprehensive way. Otherwise, it may never help. For example, if a defiler of a child is jailed, the perpetrator is in jail, that's true. But what about the damage that has been done to the child? What is put in place to ensure that the healing is total? Because if the stigma is not addressed, if the child's esteem issues are not addressed, if the child's self-worth issues are not addressed, it doesn't matter how long the defiler stays in the jail. So long as this child is in this environment that is not enabling, that child's growth is going to be totally affected negatively. Approaches to child justice must be multifaceted. They should be looked at from legal perspective, social perspective, and psychological perspective, so that the child is enabled from all fronts and the child reserves their dignity as human beings.
There are laws and policies in place that concern refugee children, but unfortunately most of these policies are not yet fully implemented. These children keep growing, they cannot wait. But unfortunately, their growth has been tampered with and their future is at stake. And as long as their rights are not fully achieved, then these children will keep running.
Refugee.